Court has reconvened from executive session at 8:47 p.m. Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. The court took up a total of 5 items that were, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 in total in executive session. Go ahead and call for certain action on these items for the purposes of moving forward. We'll go ahead and proceed from the bottom up on item reconvening of the open session. Legal counsel is on, correct? They're on the call. Mr. Gross, you are back on. Very well. Just want to make sure. For the purposes of this discussion, we're going to go ahead and proceed with one on the amendment of the Maverick County purchasing policy. For this purpose, I'd make a recommendation to the court that based on the discussions that were held in executive session, that a final draft be presented based on those requests and changes that have been identified, and that they be presented at the next available meeting for final review, and also for the purposes of reviewing with the auditor's office on this issue on the policy itself. So we'll be visiting to discuss these matters and to move forward on the terms. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Motion is been made by Commissioner Ramos, second by Commissioner Ruiz. Discussion? Being that there is none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Item number 2 on the fire and EMS negotiations. I bring forth a recommendation to the court that we, based on the discussions in executive session, that we authorize Denton Navarro and Gandu Harden, our general counsel and bond counsel for Maverick County, to deliver the formal negotiated terms as discussed in executive session, including what are the county's what is the county's review and of course plan and funding of the contract and requirements based on the terms that were discussed in executive session, and to be presented on the necessary time frame that has been requested by the court. Is there a motion to that effect? Motion has been made by Commissioner Ramos. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Ruiz. Discussion? Being that there is none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving forward with, there will be no action that will be taken on item 3 of executive session. Is that correct?
Correct.
3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Correct.
No action will be taken on those items. Moving forward to executive session, item T on this item for this purpose in executive session. Commissioner, is there any specific request that you're asking at this time for the item in executive session?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I'm seeking approval to move forward as discussed in executive session.
Very well. Is there a motion?
So that's my motion.
T.
Letter T.
Letter T.
Okay.
Discussion. Of course, the motion is to move forward as discussed in executive session with the authorization of such that's been given in executive session. Proceeding for that, there's a motion made by Commissioner Ramos. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Ruiz. Discussion? Being that there is none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Item X, in regards to the budget adjustments and amendments based on the discussion that was held in executive session. I believe that at this time the court will continue to review this. I think that there's still some pending conversations that need to be held in a little bit more in-depthness. The judge, we did speak today, and I think that what we'll wind up doing is we'll circle back before the finalization of this month to review and see what exactly we can do to modify and to consider that consideration, okay? But this is something that the court is taking into consideration at this time. Very well. For that purpose, is there a motion to go ahead and just proceed with those reviews and that I circle back for the court to present to the court, or do you just prefer that we just get back, bring it back?
No, that's my motion so that we can move forward with the negotiations to work with the auditors so that we can find
based on the recommendations.
Based on the recommendations that we have discussed so that we can move forward with that.
In executive session?
Yes.
Okay, very well.
Judge, can we make I guess discuss what we discussed with uh, with Judge Flores?
Mhm.
Could you make reference to that?
Yes, and I know that of course was a comment that was made just in reference to that, just to go ahead and know that there has been communication with both judges on this issue, and this is something that we are made the court of course has been made aware of, as a court as a whole. And I believe that in this purpose, on the concerns that have been brought forth, believe that at this point the issue here is just making sure that we can sit down and see what can be done based upon the terms and the concerns that we've seen on the issue with the county court at law, what we're going to be able to review fully on that end, and then make a determination on that issue. That's why I think that with the commissioner and her motion specifically on those issues are to review and see if there can be a positive outcome for a consideration of that adjustment based on terms that we need to review.
Yes, Judge, I'm going to be here because I personally found that uh, I am not uh, in agreement, or I'm not in the positions where we are, that we're establishing, what I see it, a case of different points of view that becomes in bad blood situations that I think is not good for our community. It's not good for Maverick County. I want very much, and I told the judge, and I'm telling you, we need to find we need to find common ground. I want to make sure that it satisfies both of you, Judge Flores, Judge Abascal, and Commissioners Court. And of course, I want to take very serious the recommendation that the county judge is going to be taking. See, he already agreed to discuss these matters at length, whatever necessary. It perhaps we're not going to get to everything that we want. Nonetheless, I want the community to see that we are ready to work. I mean, sometimes it seems like we're not in the same team, and that's not the way what we want to project. At least that's how I feel. That we want to be working together without differences, and differences will always be there. Even in our own families, we have differences. Nonetheless, the final recourse is to come to something that is a real common ground. That we agree to give up something if necessary, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we apply ourselves, and perhaps there was, as far as I'm concerned, some kind of lack of communications before we actually took the step of finalizing the budget for this year. However, and we also talked that the budget is, as far as I'm concerned, is not uh, 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 engraved in stone. And the judge says it's a living document that we can work something out. And that's what we communicate to Judge Flores, both of us, the judge and I. And I think we came up with something that will be positive. And I hope it's quick, because this is not something that we want to project to our community. That we're Richard's throat, if I can use uh, uh, the comment, how I feel. We want to make sure that we're working together to the best of our abilities, and make sure that our resources are limited. We know that. It hurts personally very much in me, that for me is that uh, our employees by and large are not getting a salary increase. Something that it's there are other avenues of helping our community, and the regularity in the funding situation for everybody should be as possible, as equal as possible. And it's not, It is not, and I know that it reflects on our behavior, and our behavior should be one that is very conscious as to what we have, and we make decisions. It's elected officials. We're elected to make decisions, and I made many mistakes in my life, and also in this position after 20 years, I'm not a perfect commissioner. Nonetheless, I can listen, and can we say I can negotiate, and I just want to find the common ground for everybody. This case, your case, and Judge Flores agrees also that we continue. And the judge did say that also. I mean, we are going to continue. We're going to continue making sure that we come out with something that we all can be as comfortable as possible. And that's also my take. And we will continue. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes.
And I have to. Well,
Yes, we will, Judge. We will. I mean, ultimately, Judge is the budget officer, but I appreciate that he's willing to listen and that we're working together to reach that happy medium that Mr. Ruiz is talking about, and that we can come out with a positive solution to support your needs in your court. And we'll continue to meet with him and working with the auditors and trying to find that happy medium. That's our goal. That's our goal. And
But I need to be said, Judge, and you certainly have made an effort, and you
yes,
we conversed with Judge Flores, and I know that Judge Oscar was busy out of town, and that doesn't mean that the door is closed. I think we should continue with our conversations.
no,
Thank you.
and we also took a trip to Austin, the judge and I, so that we can get a lot of clarification.
and I think that was something that was very important for us to do, Commissioner, as we were visiting, obviously, with TDA and visiting with other matters that were going on in Austin. Trying to make sure that we had all of the information correct today, based upon the terms and based on what has been sent over to all of us by the Office of Court Administration. We have pretty much a responsibility based upon the Secretary of State now regarding, of course, the new court to move forward in proceeding. Basically, obviously, the court has the ability and, of course, the responsibility to appoint someone to fill a vacancy by December 4th. And for that purpose, that person, of course, would serve until a candidate is elected at the November 2026 election. And then, of course, be duly elected and take their oath after January 1st of 2027. In this purpose, as we're looking at the process and moving forward, the Secretary of State obviously sets these requirements as to the appointments, the actual process for the selection of the election dates that need to move forward. As individuals know in the community, this has been something that has been asked of, and I believe that the point is to start the court, at some point, and also consider the issues that we're facing here on this matter. And I know, there's still a lot of conversations that we need to have with the 365th and Judge Abascal. I believe that the meeting that we had with Judge Flores to discuss the terms and the concerns on that issue and explaining where, from the point of, kind of this mandate that we have from the state, is where I just want to make sure that we can move forward. And it's true, Commissioner. I do believe that we need to make sure that we are working together, as a family. Not all families get along. Sometimes, sometimes people, don't get along with their families. Sometimes people steal from their families. Sometimes people literally just have a whole bunch of problems with their families. And it's unfortunate, but it's reality. And that's what we don't want. I'm going to try to do as much as we can to address the issue and to ultimately find some resolution to it. Like I said, I don't think we can guarantee a whole resolution, but we can work towards an amicable, I think, agreement on some matters based upon the terms that have been submitted and the requirements that are being submitted by the state. And I think it's important, to bring this up and to have this discussion because a lot has kind of transpired and a lot of issues have been brought forth based on this discussion. A lot of it which has been politicized by a commissioner, on these matters. And I have to say that, on these issues and what we are doing, my office got heavily attacked on this matter. My office. My staff, the people who are in my departments were heavily attacked. Mm-hmm. And I take, for this purpose, concern on these issues because I cut nearly about 176, almost 170,000 in budgets, in positions from my office. And for that purpose, when I look at those issues and I see I've made cuts to assist the budget, to modify, to actually try to fund this. But, people are out there making these comments and saying that my staff is out there getting increases. And I want to make it very clear that in defense, and of course, and I will always defend the hardworking staff that I have and the individuals that I have in my office. They have always treated every member of this community with respect and with the utmost dignity and efforts to do that. But to have a staff member publicly thrown out into the news media stating that they received an increase because yet other departments were cut, let me make it very clear when it comes down to the staff member that was brought up, and I'll point blank, Guillermina Romero. This individual does not get paid through tax dollars. This individual is serving at the pleasure, of course, of the Maverick County Finance Corporation, which is funded through the agreements that are served through the Maverick County Finance Corporation. I have assigned what is a portion of these funds which were left out and that were available to make an adjustment to that salary to incorporate her under a simple review of an amount that was listed approximately to bring her to a general fund and for her to do work under the county judge's purview. There's a responsibility that's nearly $8 million that is being operated from on that fund for the Maverick County Housing Finance Corporation. And I think that it's just, unfortunate that we have people within our own team that are there going after out each other, but yet they're pointing fingers because we've had a simple issue, or for years there has been issues with people in this county. And it is unfortunate. And I want to apologize to the staff members because I don't think that any of my staff deserves to be called out to that level because we work hard, we stay late, and I will defend them to the death, literally. I have members that have stayed with me working here, sometimes till 1, 2 in the morning, leaving events, leaving anything. The work that our team does is a lot. And at times, they're not even compensated for whether it's daily mileage, but yet other departments are all doing that. My staff has not done that. And I just want to put it on the record that as we're going through this, because it's been politicized, because it's been approached from a point or an angle that this is personal. This is not personal. What this is just the budget and the needs, and how when the state mandates a requirement for a county to have, as you mentioned, unfunded mandates that are required, this to me is something that I take seriously because, as I mentioned in the past, the Representative Eddie Morales, whom has done an exceptional job in the work that has been going forward and meeting the needs that we need for our community. I think that We just all need to understand that sometimes there's going to be issues that we're not going to be always completely 100% happy with, but we can find, as you say, Commissioner, some common ground. And that's the only thing that I'm going to ask for. So excuse my rant, but I had to say it. I have to defend my staff, and I have to make sure that all of them know that their value is way above
But
on that.
Judge, just one more comment on my part is that I think you're very good at explaining situations to the public by way of press releases, or you get the news media around and you're just explaining that particular position.
Mhm.
Who knows about this?
Mhm.
See? So what they are picture, they open a window here that is foggy. Then you need to open the door and you know, we gotta be transparent.
Correct.
After all, this is.
And I have always been, Commissioner, one that I'm not about to and I excuse an expression obviously that my mother has always said, but when they're going low, you're going to have to go at a higher level. And why? Because as the CEO for this organization, as the chief executive officer, and as the county judge, my representation of this entity, as it was at the city, was always to be stellar in moving forward and getting things accomplished. And unfortunately, I have seen that in Maverick County, we have what is still a slight, what I would say, a part of the old political faction that continues to fight for life, an ounce of life in this county. And I don't believe that this county deserves to reignite that. I believe that we have a responsibility to make sure that we are moving forward. The only thing that I'm going to ask is let me do my job.
Sure.
That's what we need to do. We need to be able to sit down and say, you know what, there's a need for us to continue to doing forward. What we accomplish at the city, we can accomplish here. But let me do my job. And that's why I need for us to be working together in unity to move forward. Despite whatever differences we may have. And I know we have differences. But at the end of the day, today I had a very good conversation with people conflictive in my office. Not the district judges. I want to make that very clear. This was an issue. And we walked out of that meeting literally hugging each other, because if there's one thing that I've always told people is, with me, you're going to have someone who has a level head, that can have a conversation, and that we can possibly work some issues. We might have a heated moment, but within that heated moment of, you know, we're trying to get our points across, we're trying to get these objectives across, within there's always going to be a reason that I can offer anyone. And I think that we've been able to accomplish that little by little here at the county. So that's all I have to say.
I can testify to those heated moments that Judge and I have had. And I appreciate that. Yes, you have that. We do tend to disagree on a lot of issues, but we meet a happy medium. And that's what all I'm asking for, Judge, and with this item, that you've had your heated moments, so now let's look forward, move forward, and see what we can come.
I didn't have a heated moment. No. Not on this issue. I just basically did what the state asked.
Yes,
and that's the issue.
We just need to reach a happy medium here, Judge. That's all I ask.
All right. Well, then, in regards to that matter, then of course I would just move forward that, based on this issue, that as the motion would be specific, that we would be moving forward in the review of this, and that we continue the oversight of the budget, and to have some additional discussions with the judges on their concerns, because I know that with the Public Defender's Office, that's also another issue that we're going to have to discuss regarding this. And I want to make sure that we can address all of these matters, because I'm aware that we have some possible murder trials that are coming up, and those can get costly. So we just need to make sure that we need to address these issues from a funding standpoint and see what it is that we can do to move on this.
Okay.
So with that, there's a motion. Is there a second? Second. Second's been made. Discussion? Being that there is no further discussion, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Alrighty. Moving forward to D.
What do we need?
Okay. Which other one? It's only one, right, that's missing? So in regards to the consideration and adoption of an amended and restated interlocal agreement for tax incremental participation in reinvestment zone number 1 for the city of Eagle Pass, on this particular item, I'll just go ahead and make note that the court has already discussed this issue before in executive session with both legal counsels present to do this, and I'm just going to ask on the record, Ms. Jumpin, for this purpose and for this interlocal agreement, in the thoughts, of course, that have been ongoing for this, is there specifics that you, as the chair on the reinvestment zone, would make a recommendation as to why it's beneficial for the county to do this?
Of course. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me this opportunity to speak. As you guys know, the tax increment reinvestment zone is set by the city. The county only agrees to participate through this interlocal agreement. So we believe that it was important for the county to have a more detailed description in what form that participation was going to be. Some of the main things that we wanted to change or add was, first of all, to make it very clear that the only funds that will be used are within the tax reinvestment zone, that anything that is outside the zone will not be touched. So that is very specified and added in this agreement, which was not specified before, which I think is important for other taxpayers to know that nothing that you're collecting now will be ever used for this improvement. Second, that's important, it clearly states what are the only improvements that can be paid from this increment zone, which it clearly states, which it didn't before, it clearly states that it can only be used for road, water, wastewater, and drainage. That's it. Or bonds that pay for that. But it cannot be used for anything other than public improvements, and it details exactly what those are. Again, for county, for taxpayers, for everybody, I think it is very important for it to be clear what this money is going to be used for. Another important thing that is spelled out is a participation, because it is a interlocal agreement with the city. How is the city and the county going to participate? It clearly states that it's going to be at a pro rata basis. What does that mean? $1 put by the city, $1 put by the county. No entity will be put more. No entity will be put first or one later. They both have to put it at the same time. This literally had to be spelled out because in the development agreement, it kind of made it seem like the county had to do their part first, which we were very against. And so the only way that we can make this crystal clear was spelled it out in the interlocal agreement, that otherwise the county would not participate if it wasn't exactly the same. The other thing that we make sure that we add in this is that, that it's a project by project basis. So if the county decides in a future project they don't want to participate, they can decide not to participate. The only thing that it protects is you can't go back. So once you decide to participate in a particular project, you can't go back and say, well, I don't want to participate in that anymore. You can decide forward, not backward. Again, we're trying to sell bonds paid by this improvement district, so it's just making sure that it protects the bonds that are going to get taken, but it allows you not to be married to all the future projects if you don't believe that it benefits the county. So the other thing that is important, that this was already agreed on before, it was that it's very clearly stated that the county will have 3 participating chairs, the city will have 3, and the developer will have 1. Those are the main changes. None of the other percentages, time, nothing is changed other than that. Any questions on what was discussed in legal, or any questions that you guys have for me? I'm trying to make it as simple, but for taxpayers to understand that all this was really trying to protect the county, because this is the only part that you guys have for the participation part of it.
Correct. And that was just the one thing that, I mean, we had our legal discussion in executive session, but I wanted to make sure that when we came out of here, based, of course, on the terms and of the agreement, that there be something presented, you know, you, of course, serving as the chair of the TERS board, that you present something specifically to this entity in open session as we move forward with the process. But that's why I just wanted to kind of get the review from that. Is there any questions that you all have for Ms. Jumpin on this item?
Of course, Mr.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think I heard this before. You mentioned it before, and I know it's a refresher, and I think it's got to be very clear that the taxation that we are now with the community, those are not going to be involved in this particular endeavor. Totally.
Not 1 cent.
Very clear.
Not 1 cent. Nothing that is inside, and quite honestly, the only thing that is inside the zone right now, I own all the tax reinvestment zone except for the military base and pilot that got purchased. Other than that, those are the 3 owners of the zone at this point. If you're not part of those entities, you're not affected at all. No taxpayer that currently pays taxes will have any type of increment, will be affected in no way other than this stimulates growth and they'll be benefited by that.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions? No. Okay, based on the terms and the discussions that were held in executive session with legal counsel from both Denton Navarro and from Cantu Hardin, I'll go ahead and call for a motion on this item, and my recommendation would be to proceed with the, as discussed in executive session, with the approval of the terms that the court has lined out for the modifications and changes that have been discussed, and for legal counsel to present those for final review and approval with the City of Eagle Pass and the TERS board. Is there a motion to that effect?
Thank you for final review. I so move.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Ramos. I'm sorry, motion has been made by Commissioner Ruiz, second by Commissioner Ramos. Discussion. This, of course, would be the approval of such, which would be pending final review of legal counsel.
Yes.
Okay. So once legal counsel submits all of the changes that we have requested in executive session, it'll be ready to present to the city.
All right.
Very well. Clear? Good. All right. So for that purpose, is there any further clarification that's needed? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you all. With that being said, if there is no further items that are pending, Madam Clerk? No? We've taken care of everything? Are you sure? Other than changing the letters to numbers for the next meeting, there's no other requests. We'll go ahead and call for a motion to adjourn. Motion has been made by Commissioner Ramos, second by Commissioner Ruiz. Discussion. Being that there is none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you all.
Thank you.